All right, we're live. Oh, with we're live here on backstage with Cindy Rowe. I have my guest Katie, who appears to be frozen. You're still are you frozen? We had a bit of technical difficulties at the beginning, and I was hoping that once we went live, it would not happen again. But we're gonna just roll through this. I know Katie from being in the Junior League of Rockford. I've been part of the Junior League for a couple of years, and Katie and I not only have participated on events through the Junior League, but we are also stand volleyball players together. And she has her own business that I'm excited to hear a little bit more about and have her share her journey. So welcome, Katie.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and excited to be talking to you, a friendly face. So thank you so much for having me on. So as Cindy mentioned, we are in Junior League together, sand volleyball. Cindy's a really good sand volleyball player, just so everybody knows.
And good means I put in effort. I'm successful. Let's get that straight.
It's the more White Claws she drinks, like the better she gets. It's really weird.
It is true. That is so true.
I feel like that's how we all are.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, so I'm Katie or Caitlin, depending on how you know me. And I am a life coach for women in business. And so what that means is that I help women make decisions. I help them organize their time. And I can also help them with their business. I have about a decade of experience in commercial lending. So just from that experience, I gained so much knowledge in how businesses work and what needs to be done. And so then when you combine that with kind of all of the mindset work that I've learned how to do and how to overcome as a life coach, it's kind of a really cool combination. And so I'm going to try not to ramble for too long, Cindy.
Go ahead.
I think I started my self-help personal development journey back in high school. I didn't realize it at the time how progressive it was, but my high school offered guided meditation for gym class instead of
wow.
Yeah. At the time I was like, sweet. I don't have to sweat. I just lay here and it was kind of this progressive muscle tensing and relaxing, and it really worked. I mean, there were so many people that just fell asleep during class. So that was kind of my first exposure to the power of meditation. And then I continued to be kind of into that sort of thing. And it really as I got older, I started to embracing yoga. And then just, the stresses of life, you start to look for self-help books and things like that. So I've been kind of obsessed with personal development and self-help for a long time. And I think also what spurred that is that shortly after I graduated from college in 2007, which I'm really realizing just gave away my age, which I did not do. But anyway, it was 2007. I started to really develop anxiety. And so I think that was part of the reason why I really gravitated toward self-help and personal development, because I was trying to kind of deal with the anxiety. I didn't want to go to therapy. I didn't want to go on drugs. So I just tried to do kind of whatever I could. And unfortunately, it got worse and worse. And so I tried more and more avenues, did more yoga, read more books. And then in 2016, when I had my first son, it was a delayed reaction, but I ended up getting postpartum anxiety. And the really weird thing was that I didn't realize that that's what it was for a really long time, because I wasn't anxious about him. I wasn't anxious about my son. I wasn't hearing phantom cries or afraid that I was a bad mom, all of my anxiety got directed to my career. And it felt like, I always felt like, on the outside, it looked like I was doing great. I had a good relationship with my clients. My colleagues respected me. I was getting promoted. It looked good, but I was waking up in the middle of the night feeling like my chest was on fire, like I just wanted to crawl in a hole. Like it was a really, really tough time. And it ended up kind of ending my career because I just couldn't overcome all of the stress. And I didn't have the tools at the time. I didn't know about life coaching. I didn't know about thought work. And the books and the programs that I tried really hadn't worked. Either because they were really specific. They would be like, okay, meditate and do yoga and do this and do that. And it was just kind of like a really broad prescription that didn't do it for me. Or it would be like really, really vague and therefore almost impossible to implement. It would be like really good ideas and theories, but I didn't have a way to like put it into place. And shortly after I then left banking, which was kind of a whole story about how I went part-time for a while and then eventually ended up leaving entirely, I just kind of had this like epiphany. Like if you ever had one of those moments where like everything slows down and you just feel like the puzzle pieces come into place and you have this like aha moment and you just kind of like, it's like Twilight Zone type thing. It kind of happened for me around March of last year, so about a year ago, where I was like, whoa, I was like, what if I could take all of what I've learned about personal development and combine it with all of the experience that I've gained doing analysis in banking. I was a number cruncher. I would make templates. I would do formulas, like Excel formulas. Like I was very, very data driven, which in banking is par for the course. I mean, it's just kind of what you do. Like, what if I could actually create a formula that I could use to be happier and get what I want out of life? And what if it was personal to me, but it was a framework that then I could share with other people? And what if it was foolproof because it's math? It's just kind of like a plug and play sort of a thing. And within 5 minutes, it just all kind of came to me, like how this was going to work. And then I realized, like, wow, if I had developed this 10 years earlier, I would have made so many different decisions in my life. I would have avoided so much pain. But I thought, well, at least I've done it now. And but I still didn't know what it was called because I don't know any life coaches. And still, like in real life, I don't know any life coaches. Like I didn't know what that was. And so I start Googling, like after I create this program and I create this system, I'm like, what do I do with it now? So I start Googling like kind of like bits and pieces of like what I'm trying to do and what this is for. And it like life coaching kept coming up. And I'm like, I'm not a life coach. Like I had all these like preconceived notions of what life coaches were, and they were not good. And it was like, life coaches are just, I don't know, like watered down therapists or like, I don't live in California and drink green. Like I had all these ideas about like what life coaching was and like what kind of people called themselves life coaches. And then like, if you're a life coach, don't you have to have your life totally figured out? And that's never going to happen. So like this whole like narrative in my head, until I realized that like, yeah, that's what this is. And I'm going to do it my way. And so I just kind of embraced it. And I opened my practice a few months ago, and it has been so much fun. It has been the greatest thing. I absolutely love it.
I learned so much more about you just in that little few minutes. But another thing we have in common is that we both worked in banking. So I was in banking prior to launching my business, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I did struggle with some of the things that you talked about. So maybe it's the financial industry that just makes us go wacky.
Yeah.
You mentioned thought work. Can you, actually, I put up a comment from Christine. She said she's always wanted to be a life coach since 2013. That's so cool. So cool. Hopefully, you've inspired her to maybe move forward on that. But thought work, you said that. Describe what that is, or tell me a little bit more about what that means.
So there's a lot of life coaching schools of thought. And the one that I really gravitate toward is the idea that our thoughts create our feelings. Mm-hmm. So, you can think something like, this call's going to go great, right? Like I did this actually, I wrote down a few thoughts earlier, like before our call. And I was assuring myself, like, my story is important. It's time to share my story, all this stuff. And so our thoughts then create our feelings. So by having thoughts like that, I'm coming into the call feeling empowered. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling ready. And so the idea is that our thoughts create our feelings, and then our feelings in turn create our actions. So like what we do or what we don't do. So in this scenario, my thought, my story is important. It's time to share it. Makes me feel ready. So then I come on here and I share freely, and it just kind of flows, right? So that's the action that comes through that. And then our actions create our results. So it's kind of like this domino effect that really kind of starts with like some kind of circumstance in our life, which is neutral. Like it's just a fact. Like it could be a fact that I'm going live at 2 p.m. Like that's a circumstance. It's neutral. It's just a thing. It's just a fact that's happening. Then I have a thought about it, and that thought drives how I feel. And then my feeling drives what I do, and what I do drives what result I get. So when I say thought work, I'm saying that it's very easy to change our thoughts, actually. Way easier than to change our feelings. I mean, if you've ever tried to tell somebody, calm down, like it doesn't work, because the thought is driving the feeling. And whatever, and until you get to that thought, you figure out what that is and work on changing it, which is one of the things that life coaching can help you do, is learn to change those thoughts. Because once you do that, everything else starts falling into place more the way you want it to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I just listened to a podcast this morning when I was getting ready, and they talked a lot about when you're having a disagreement, an argument with a loved one. They talked about a spouse or, somebody, a close friend, and it's not going well, and you start getting very overwhelmed. They said the best thing to do is step away, walk away, and allow yourself to feel what you want to feel, or feel what you're feeling, because it's validated, but get away from the situation so you don't make it worse, because it's all the heat of the moment. Right. And do something like listen to music or meditate or whatever, get your thoughts together, because your thoughts aren't going to come out when you're all fired up.
Yeah.
They're not going to come out the right way, or you're going to regret, but clear your mind, and then, get collected and, have another good conversation. And I've heard it before. I've heard what you said before about, thoughts create feelings, and feelings create the actions, and actions create the results. It's just, you have to keep reiterating that to yourself and repeating it, because it's so important. But you're right. Like if you come into it with a negative attitude, you're going to get a negative result out of it. Mm-hmm. Period. Right. Like if you're stressing over it, or you're like, oh, what's it going to be like? You're not going to be able to fully enjoy it. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. So thank you very much for that. So we heard about what you're doing. how do you gather, or how do you get clients, or how does somebody work with you, or what does that work look like?
Well, right now I do only one-on-one programs. So I work with clients one-on-one, but I find them on social media, or they find me on social media rather. But so I like to share a lot about what I do on social media, and I have a private Facebook group called Well and Kind that anyone's welcome to join. I give a lot of free tips. I share a lot of pieces of my story that I don't share on other platforms. I am not a huge social media person. It tends to drain my energy. So I figured that if I wanted to be on social media and share my story, then I would do it in a place like a Facebook community where I could have a better relationship with the women that I'm talking to. And I just felt much more comfortable there. So that is one of the ways that I do it. And then I do, I just reach out and I just help people as much as I can on, Facebook groups, Instagram, just anywhere that I can help people. I find that if I come at it from the thought that I'm going to help someone today, I'm going to give some value, I'm going to be a beacon of love, I'm going to share my knowledge freely, that what ends up happening is people recognize that and then they want to work with me. So it's kind of a soft approach, but I don't like to, I don't like come after people and try to like get them to DM me or anything like that. It's really just, I figure if I am being the person that is living in transformation and is being an example of what is possible with life coaching, that will lead to clients reaching out.
Authenticity.
It's like the be do have, right? It's like be this person first, and that's going to create my actions, and then I will have a full client roster. It's kind of, rather than thinking when I have a full client roster, then I'll give all the value and I'll be successful. It's like, no, it's the other way around. I'm going to be the person who is living the work.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's how I've built my business as well. Trying to be seen as an expert, giving away tips and hints and whatever tricks that will help them, and hopefully that when they need it or when they're frustrated do it themselves, then I'm the first person they think of. So very similar philosophies, but being authentic, I think, especially in your line of work too, they have to feel that kind of connection with you and your personality. And if that doesn't mesh, they're never going to want to work with you. So if you're somebody completely different online than you are in person, that's going to work against you. So I think you're going at it the right way. What's been the most satisfying part so far in your business?
I feel like it's all satisfying. It's like
there's got to be one moment that's been like,
I think just the look on someone's face when they realize, like when I hit on something and they realize that they weren't thinking of it in a certain way, and that now it is going to give them the power. They're going to feel empowered to do the thing that they want to do, or move through the obstacle that they've been trying to get past. I think that's just the most satisfying thing, because then from that point on, that person is going to like not fall for that again. They're gonna be onto themselves, is what we say. Like, be onto yourself. Like if you're having certain thoughts, or you are afraid, sometimes you're like secretly afraid of success, or you're, secretly not wanting to be, you don't want attention on you, right, but you have these big dreams. Those two things don't go together, right? So it's kind of like, but until someone points that out to you, you feel like it's real. Like you feel like that's the truth.
Yeah.
And, so just being able to kind of be that third party that especially if I don't know the person. It's like being that third party that's unbiased and no judgment and neutral, and just showing them how they're getting in their own way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's the, on average, or what's the typical type of client that reaches out to you for coaching? What's their struggle, or what's their hurdles is it personal? Is it professional? Is it a little bit of everything?
Well, what I say, well, see, that's the thing. And what I like to say is that we are our businesses. So, especially for solopreneurs, or even entrepreneurs with a very small team, early stage entrepreneurs. I mean, my favorite people to work with are people who are really new in business. And the world is kind of their oyster, and they're kind of laying the foundation for what's going to come, because that is, I think, the best time to kind of do this sort of, I don't want to call it an intervention, but to like dig out any of the issues that there are, so that when they market, when they make decisions about their business, they're doing it from a good place. And I like, you almost can't do business coaching without doing life coaching, because it just, like, who you are, what you believe about yourself, and the thought work that you do or don't do, it makes so much of a difference in how you conduct yourself in business, and ultimately how successful you are. Like you were talking about, Cindy, authenticity, like it, and that took me a long time too, like especially in banking. On the outside, I did look very successful and, promoted. And when I left, when I first announced that I was leaving in 2017, I went part-time. And then in 2018, I officially left. My coworkers were floored. They did not see it coming, because what they didn't realize was that the woman who came to the bank every day, it was me, in the sense that it was like my integrity was there, but I didn't feel like I could be the full expression of myself. I always felt like, kind of like, I don't need to do that. Like I felt like square peg, round hole. I will make it work because I'm resourceful and smart, right? And so are you. But is that how you want to spend your life?
Right.
I had a series of health scares that led up to this kind of like anxiety breaking point. I got so sick and didn't go to the doctor, and I was sick for so long that I coughed so hard I fractured a rib.
Oh, wow.
I got shingles at the age of like 31. And the first thing the doctor asked me was like, "Are you under a lot of stress?" And I'm like, yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah.
And then I had a breast cancer scare, and I remember, which I've shared a little bit about on my social media, but like, if, I spent the weekend waiting for the biopsy results, thinking, if this is bad, I'm out of here. And then I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, so let me get this straight, Katie. Like, you're going to continue to go to a job that isn't quite a right fit, unless you're going to die, in which case you're going to leave. Like, I was like, hold on.
It's a big wake-up call, though.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely a big wake-up call when you have those moments, and for me, it was when I knew I always wanted to have my own business. That's been a dream of mine since I was little. I've shared that a lot. But when I kept going to work and crying on my way to work, or I would miss the turn, and I've been taking the same route for 13 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like there's something about this, and it was not worth it anymore. Yeah. And I was losing friends. I was getting, my family was not looking forward to me coming home because I was not a nice person. So yeah, I mean, there's all these things. I didn't have the scary life stuff like you did, but it affects it, when you're not happy or when there's something better out there. And it's scary to take that leap, but man, it's been worth it. So
Yeah.
Christine's asking what your private Facebook page or group is again.
Oh, it's called Well and Kind, and you might have to search well plus symbol kind, which is also the name of my podcast that I started a couple of months back. It's all about personal growth, mindset, motivation for women. I'll put a link in the comments, so that'll just be an easier way for you to get it.
Yeah, I just added it too. I just put the Well Plus Kind Facebook group.
Oh, cool.
It's a good group. I feel like it's a nice, safe place, for us women. All right. So, what motivates you to keep going?
I don't know. This question of motivation is actually really loaded because I've spent a lot of my life being motivated by the wrong things, and being motivated by external validation. Someone to tell me I'm doing a good job, someone to certify me in something or give me a degree, and then I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And so I feel like I'm still unraveling from that a little bit, but now it's just from this deep desire to create my own, I've just come up with this framework, and I just want other people to benefit from it and just be the full expression of myself, which sounds really woo-woo, but that's really what I'm thinking. It's just, finally, I get to just be myself, and I get to share my weird gifts with the world, which, I've always been this kind of 50-50, right brain, left brain. So I've never quite really fit into a box, either kind of the artsy box or the analytical box. And now I'm oh, so what I've created is something that people who love analysis are probably also going to love. And so it's just kind of it's also an experiment. I'm just curious. I'm what, how many lives can I touch? How many, where can I take this? What can I do? I'm just having a blast over here. And I'm not, I'm just working a lot on being unattached to any outcome. I'm in yoga teacher training as well, which is really kind of part of that journey. Just learning the philosophy and the idea of non-attachment. And so I guess what motivates me is just curiosity at the end of the day.
I like that answer. That's awesome, though.
Everybody, and I do, but I'm also just really curious, what is this next step? I'm just staying open. What is this next chapter for me? And how can I spread my message to as many people as I can?
That's awesome. So I need to work on the non-attachment.
It's hard.
I have, and I still deal with wanting to be validated, and not necessarily always in business and personal, and maybe that goes back to, our early childhood of feeling the lack of whatever, but yeah, that's something I struggle with too. And I love personal development. I didn't get into it as soon as you did. But that's what changed my life is once I started reading, and I hated to read, but somebody told me to read a book, and I am a rule follower most of the time. But I read the book and I was okay, what's next? What other book can I read? And the person I was when I read that first book and the person I was a year later after reading about 10 other books I was a totally different person. And that's what prompted me to start my business, is just because now I believed I could. And, it changed a lot of who I believed I was. And I always thought it would be awesome to have personal development classes in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if they have them. But man, if they started in high school to just put that in their brain, I think we would have some amazing people coming out of high school, but
Yeah.
not that we don't already, but I mean, I think their head would be on a little bit differently than, and more so from within, right? That they
Right.
wouldn't have all these external. Well, we are at 2:30. Holy moly, it goes really, really fast. Um, but I loved hearing your story. And I want you to just take a few minutes to share, how people can get in touch with you, what all you do. I have your website. I'll put up on the screen. And then, anything you want to promote, this is your time. And I put up your website. So we have that.
Yeah, if you go to my website, you can certainly use the contact form and get a hold of me that way. Or honestly, we're all on Facebook right now, right? You can just message me. That's probably the easiest way. And then I can answer any questions that you have about coaching or about anything, and anything I know about anyway. Don't ask me any math questions, but anything I know. And that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
So you have a website, you have a Facebook page, you're on Instagram, you have a podcast. I've listened to a couple of episodes. I did not listen to the most recent one. It's in my little tickler here. They're great. See, I didn't even look to see the time, but yours are the perfect time frame, because if it gets past a certain time, I'm not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
And I actually had somebody share with me when they listen to podcasts. I don't have a commute to work. My office space is like 2 minutes from my house, so it's really not long. But they do it while they're cooking dinner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so odd. Like,
Me
so
too.
it's when I'm getting ready and when I'm cooking dinner, that's when I listen to podcasts. But you have a podcast. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent. So you have a podcast. You are being certified to become a yoga instructor. So are you going to be is that a goal of yours to be teaching somewhere locally, or?
I would be totally open to teaching. I've been doing yoga for over 10 years too, so this is kind of a long time coming. I mainly am doing the yoga teacher training for the philosophy aspect to bring that into my coaching practice. I think it's just another perspective that can help me help people.
That's awesome. Another layer. Well, very cool. Well, you guys, she's going to add some stuff in the comments, but I think we've got her website. Let me put that back up to get in touch with Katie. But yeah, if you're listening to this on the replay, drop a question and she'll come back and answer it for you. Or if you have a question for me or whatever. Thank you so much, Katie. It's been a pleasure to learn a little bit more about you that I did not know. And, I look forward to, seeing you grow and blossom and see what all you can do with this lifestyle coaching. I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.